Welcome to another edition of Questions with LA. I am LA Marzulli, the host of the show. If you've got a question, you can always email us at questions@lamarzulli.net. We'll be right back and we'll start answering some of your questions after a word from our trusted sponsor, Noble Gold. We are at war and we are in a recession. Two things the government doesn't want you to know, but it's only a matter of time until cracks start to show. And do you know who will get hit the most? Most likely you and me. That's why you need to protect yourself and your family, because things will only get worse. Fortunately, Noble Gold Investments is here to help you. You've worked too hard to build up your savings and investments to see it all crushed to bits. And the financial fallout from the wars, the trade tariffs, and the sanctions that are bound to happen. Gold and silver from Noble Gold Investments are real possessions in times like these. Knowing that you're outside the system when it all goes wrong is a great feeling. And a surefire way to keep your money safe for your retirement is a precious metals IRA. Noble Gold Investments has been helping people like you and me to keep their money safe for years with these. And this month, they're giving away a beautiful gold eagle bullion coin with every qualifying IRA or $50,000 or higher. Folks, make sure you don't get trampled. I know we've invested in Noble Gold, and gold is on the rise. Even though it went down a little bit, it's going back up. Folks, visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. I sort of changed things up a little bit. I'm in the main set in the studio. I love this set because it's got so much stuff in it. So we'll get right into this. And folks, I just want to let you know that we've got a lot of questions in the queue. So if you emailed me a couple of days ago, it's going to be a while before we get to your question, but I do promise you this, I will get to it. It just takes some time. This is from Eric. Hey, LA, my question is pertaining to Phil Schneider. Phil said he had killed some angels or some aliens underground at the DULCE base in New Mexico. If true, do you think he killed fallen angels or hybrids? Can fallen angels be killed by us? Or is his story even true? Just want to know your take on it. Thanks for all you do, sir. And God bless you. Eric, thanks so much. Let's walk through it. According to Schneider, he had a firefight, an altercation with so-called aliens. I believe that they were the Greys. We've talked about this before. We had Karen Wilkinson on. You can go back to last week. That program is right here on our YouTube channel. By the way, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. But Karen talks about the Greys, and she believes, as I do, that the Greys are biological constructs. They are, in fact, avatars, which the demons inhabit. Now, first of all, we got to make a distinction between the fallen angels and demons. Fallen angels can shapeshift. They can appear as an angel of light. Demons need a body to inhabit. They need something to go into, whether it's an animal, a person, or an object. That's why charged items can actually have demonic attachments to them, as it were. So I don't think angels can be killed. They can be wounded, because we know this from the book of Revelation, that the dragon, Michael and his angels fight with the dragon and his angels, and Michael overcomes them. How does that work? What do they fight with? We don't know. The Bible is silent on it. But as a commentator, even though we always hear the fact that, well, the Bible doesn't say anything and just be silent on it. Nonsense. Every commentator on the planet is speculating based on his research, based on his understanding of the word. They have to fight with something. Is it a flaming sword? Possibly. Is it like a lightsaber? Possibly. We don't know. So thank you, Eric, for writing in. Let's move on. This is from Douglas. He wants to know, where are why the lack of bones in archaeology? Why don't we see them? Well, in the Ralph Glidden picture, which I took out on Catalina Island years ago, Ralph is standing in front of a recently excavated skeleton, which is about 9 feet tall. What happened to those bones? According to my research, Glidden packed up a lot of the artifacts, put them on a barge or a boat, and that thing sunk out on the way back to Los Angeles. There was a storm and everything was lost. Do you believe that? I'm not sure I believe it, but how convenient that all the bones are missing. There's also something called NAGPRA, Native American Grave Protection and Repatriation Act, NAGPRA, okay? That happened decades ago. And what that states is basically, if you find what archaeologists will put over a very broad umbrella, as it were. Native American artifacts, you've got to report that. Native American artifacts, you've got to report that. So, and it needs to be repatriated to the tribe. And I get that. It would be like, someone opening up my late grandfather, Olindo Marzulli, and, displaying his skeleton in a museum. That's ridiculous. And I would take umbrage in that. Rightfully, Native Americans need to do so also. However, the bones of the Nephilim, the bones of the six-fingered giants are different. And we have a right to see them. If they were here, the American people have a right to see them. So let's continue. This is from Mark. Hey, I have many of your videos. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. As well as watch each week as you explore and explain the unexplainable. However, I am confused on a couple of topics. Well, hopefully we can clear up some of the confusion. The Nephilim skulls you have found are normal size to slightly smaller compared to humans. If the Nephilim are giants, why the skulls? Why aren't the skulls? According to Enoch, the fallen angels bestowed hidden knowledge to the inhabitants of Earth. If they are so intelligent, why do they continue visiting Earth to abduct humans for experimentation? Two questions. Let's get to the first one. There are different Nephilim tribes that we see. The Anakim, the Nephilim, the Zanzumim, the Emims, the Rephaim, the Horites. Is it possible, and this is conjecture, that some of these tribes are different? In other words, that the names like the Zanzumim translates buzzing ones. Does that mean that the sound of their voices sounded like a swarm of bees? I don't know. That's conjecture. I get that. But something is going on. I believe, for instance, that the Horites were a Nephilim tribe. They lived underground. The Anakim, which means the long neck ones. So the name may actually denote certain genetic characteristics. It seems like the dragon is attempting to create man in his own image, and of course he can't do that. Some of the Nephilim tribes were giants. There's no doubt about that. We see the six-fingered, red-haired, cannibalistic giants over here in the Americas, so we know that that was real. But there is a distinction. The Horites are cave dwellers. In other words, once again, the name seems to signal, if I can use that word, certain genetic characteristics. If they are so intelligent, why did they continue visiting Earth to abduct humans into experimentation? The reason for this is they're looking for genetic material. This is why certain bloodlines are taken, certain people are taken. Satan is outnumbered 2-1. I remember asking the late Chuck Missler this, and he said, right on the record, without any hesitation on his part, the dragon, Satan is outnumbered 2-1. He's creating an army, and that's what we get here. So there you go. This is from Michael. Hey, LA, I have listened and enjoyed your videos for a number of years. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks for all your hard work you have done and intend to do. Has anyone ever found a giant's tooth? If so, has it ever been tested for DNA? There's lots of rumors around on the internet. There's another researcher, Klaus Donner, who apparently got some testing done from his work down in Ecuador. I have not seen any results. I don't know. Is it possible? We know this from the Paracas skulls, that nuclear DNA was obtained, and apparently what they discovered, whatever this entity was not in the database. In other words, not in the gen bank. They didn't know what it was. That was according to Brian Forrest's research. This is from Aaron. Hey, Leigh, I stumbled across your channel while browsing YouTube trying to find Tucker Carlson's special on cattle mutilations. And as a believer, I'm fascinated and frightened by your theories and content. I have two questions regarding the abduction phenomenon. Is there a commonality across international abduction stories? Do Chinese or Indian abduction stories involve similar situations, or do these beings manifest in different ways depending on the culture? In my opinion, they do manifest different ways. They appear differently. However, what we note is that they seem to congregate around a certain blood type or a certain genetic type. So are Chinese people being abducted? I don't know. I don't have that information. Indian people in India, some of them are. There's no doubt about that. But they seem to drill into, if I can use that expression, into Caucasians. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. But that's the information that we're getting. But as far as I know, it's all across the spectrum. It doesn't matter. They're after something. These entities are after something, some genetic material. But Indians, people from India, are being taken. People from China are being taken. Now, we know that. If you're watching this over there, shoot us an email, la@lamarzulli.net. It would be great to get your take on it. Let's continue. The second question is, are there any stories of born-again Christians being abducted or an attempted abduction? Yes, there are. And I'll tell you what that is. There was an elder a while back who emailed me. I've told this story before. And I interviewed this guy less than 24 hours after the incident. And I asked him, are you into anything funky? He said, absolutely not. So he's not, there's no sin in the camp, as it were. There's no open door that's allowing stuff to come into his life. It's not there. Not there. And folks, let me just, before I go on, you got to understand something, that we can open doors. We can open doorways. This is why it's so important to take every thought accountable, take every thought captive, because the stuff we let in stays in. That's in our flesh, in our personality, spirit, soul, body. It's in our soul nature. We take those things where? Through the eye gate, through the ear gate, through the mind gate. It all comes through here. And this is why we've got to learn to take every thought accountable. I remember hearing this 43 years ago from my late mentor, Wayne Kendall, who, Marzulli, you've got to take every thought captive. And I'm going, Wayne, that's an impossibility. After 43 years of walking with him, I have learned to do that. Does every thought that comes in, is every thought, taken captive? No, sometimes not immediately. But you know what? The Holy Spirit will wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go, hey, LA, take a look at this. You forgot about that one. Oh, okay, I get it. And so it's not only we partake in it, but the Spirit of the living God is also leading us and helping us to take every thought captive. So let's continue. This man, let me get a slurp. This man was an elder in the church. Like I said earlier, I spoke to him within 24 hours of the incident. Laying in bed, all of a sudden he wakes up, he's paralyzed. Classic. He's being levitated off the bed and sucked over to the window, to the wall. He realizes that directly behind him, that wall, there's got to be a disc. There's a saucer, there's a UFO out there. And he's freaking out. Who wouldn't? He's paralyzed. The thought, UFO brain fog, the thought that's going through his head as the covers are being pulled off his wife, gee, I hope I don't wake her up. What he doesn't realize is she's already been switched off. He's now at the wall. He's trembling. He realizes that he's going to go through the wall. He cries out to Jesus. Just like that, the abduction phenomena is stopped. We've heard this over and over and over again. If you have not seen, shameless plug, our UFO series, number 4 is on the abduction phenomena. All the people, well, 3 out of the 4, have stopped their abductions by calling out to the name of Jesus. Folks, it's not magic. It's a personal relationship that we have with the risen Savior. This is from Andrew. Greetings, LA. I would like to propose a theory and appreciate your input. I'll do my best. As we see that some heavenly beings mentioned in the Bible have animal characteristics, wings, animal faces, serpentine qualities of the Nakash and the Seraphim, and that we hear of so many animal-like beings concerning ETs and cryptids, such as insectoids, reptilians, Mothman, flying humanoids, that look similar to various birds or bats, ape men such as Bigfoot, Yeti, dogmen, werewolves, as well as so many gods and spirits of antiquity. Is it possible that these beings existed with these characteristics before the creation of earthly animals? Is it possible these beings are the animals of the heavenly realms and God created earthly animals as a dimensionally scaled down representation of the great menagerie that he created in heaven? Perhaps we could say that earthly animals were created in the likeness of these beings as mankind was created as the image bearers of God. This is really interesting. A very interesting idea. I don't have the answer to that. I'll be honest with you, Andrew. I don't have the answer to that. I will say this, that there definitely are, and you've already mentioned them. I mean, what are the cherubim, for crying out loud? There seems to be a ranking of angels and principalities in the dark side. They do look differently. We understand that. So you may bring up a really valid point, bully for you. It's something that I would put on the back burner and cogitate on that from time to time and pray about it. Thank you so much for the question or the hypothesis. Great stuff there on your part. Bully for you, sir. This is from Stefan. Hey, LA, blessings. You are the only one doing these questions, and I really appreciate it. As a heartwarming chance to connect with you. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Very good questions every time as well. Bully for the people that write in. My question is about the couple that had contact with Bigfoot in their area. If I remember correctly, the specific Bigfoot they mentioned is called Glad, and he is some kind of leader or elder of his pack. Yes. Do you plan to visit? It does sound dangerous, yes. But if I was in the U.S., I or maybe someone else would gladly go on your behalf. We can't trust anyone these days as the great deception inches closer. Boy, is that ever true. But I would like to hear your thoughts. It sounds like Glad has knowledge and leads that could potentially change the game in our favor. Thanks for your efforts. They invited me up there, and so far I have declined their invitation. I have no desire, I should say, to get involved or to see cryptids or dogmen or Bigfoot or any of that. Now, if the Lord taps me on the shoulder and says, LA, go, I will go. But right now, I have no desire to do that. But thanks for writing in. I appreciate it. This is from Paul. Hey, LA, my question is, have you or a distributor ever considered getting your films on a streaming service? I don't know your sales statistics, but if any of your films, especially the older ones, are slowing down with purchases, you might have luck with a service like Tubi. I have seen many of Christian Pinto films there, even the ones you made appearances in. You know, if any of you out there have connections to Netflix, we would love to get our stuff on Netflix. And maybe I should be looking into Tubi myself. Thank you so much for writing in. And we could use some help with that. This is from Douglas. Brother L.A., Ham would not have made it on the ark had he not been a pure blood. However, my thoughts on Ham's transgressions against his father Noah, might he have been possessed? It's a really good question. We don't know what we're looking at with Ham. In my opinion, Ham's wife did not contain the Nephilim gene. I just disagree with other researchers respectfully, and that's okay. People are entitled to their opinions, and they're stuck with them, and I'm stuck with mine. But I don't believe that Ham's wife carried the Nephilim gene on board. Something happened to Ham, and you know, isn't it interesting that Ham is not really cursed, but Ham's grandson is. So we're not sure what we're looking at. It's one of those mysteries in the Bible that we just, a lot of speculation, a lot of different viewpoints. I don't know, but it is interesting. Something happened. There's no doubt about it. Something happened. And that's, you know, we might never know this side of glory. But thanks for writing in. I got another question from the same gentleman. This is from Douglas. Brother Ellie, I have a theory. Since the fallen ones violated not only man but animals, that is the reason we don't see dinosaurs to date. Reading Genesis, only pure blood made it on the ark. Your thoughts? I believe that the dinosaurs are way before man was ever here. I believe that was part of the rebellion. I believe it was the heavenly war. And this happened perhaps, you know, thousands, millions of years before man came on the scene. I am an old earther. This is from John Pellegrino. Hello, LA. Greeting from Kentucky. Hi, John. Thank you so much for writing. My question is, are you a believer of Hollow Earth? And do you have any knowledge of it actually existing? If so, is there anything in the Bible that states any info on it? And do you think these interdimensional cryptoids are coming in and out of Hollow Earth or someplace different? Second question is, can a misled person who finally woke up, matured, and changed get saved at age 35 from living in sin, or is it too late? Can't seem to get solid feedback. Look, if you're saved at 35 or 45 or 55, I remember asking the Lord about this a while back. You know, when is salvation not there? When does the clock run out? As long as there's breath, that clock is ticking. And that person can be on his deathbed and he or she can accept the Lord. So as long as there's breath, there's hope, in my opinion. So getting back to the hollow earth, no idea. Do I believe in a hollow earth? It's very, very possible. It's extremely possible. There's not a lot of data on it, but it's certainly, look, we live in a very strange world. When you get into things like the Bermuda Triangle, what the heck is that, right? right? The Bermuda Triangle, where the planes go missing and the ships go missing. It's unbelievable. So there's a lot that we don't know about the planet. The fact that right out here between where I live and out in Catalina Island, it's one of the deepest trenches in the oceans of the world. Would that be a great place for UFOs to hide? Absolutely. Folks, thanks so much for watching Questions with LA. If you got a question, please shoot us an email, questions@lamarzulli.net. Don't forget, we've got all five are available by, all five in the UFO series are available by going to lamarzulli.net, lamarzulli.net, lamarzulli.net. We are going to Israel. We have 24 people signed up for the tour. Plenty of room on the bus. You can sign up by going to lamarzulli.net. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back here again very soon with another episode.